So recently I downloaded and installed linuxmint on one of my virtual machines. So linuxmint actually is a very good Ubuntu-based distribution, and it's already looking beautiful, but I still wanted to rise it up a bit, or just I wanted to improve more on its looks. Okay, so I'm thinking of adding the following applications: conky, unimatrix, rofi, and plank. So those are some of the applications that I'll be installing to rise it up a bit, as well as maybe change the wallpaper. Okay, so let me first try to install Conky. So Conky is a system monitor, or Linux-based system monitor. Okay, so it's configurable, um, and that's actually one of its main beauty. It can easily be configured. Okay, so let me try to make it up, make it a little bit big, or make the terminal a little bit big, so that at least you can see the commands that I'm trying to issue. So let's try to sudo apt-get install conky. Okay, let's try to specify the password. Okay, so we already have here installation is already done. So let's try to issue the command conky. Okay, as you've noticed, conky is already up and running on my upper left portion of my desktop. But let's try to spice it up a bit by trying to configure the application. Okay, so let's try to close. The first thing that we need to do is we need to copy conky from its source to the config folder. Okay, so how do we do that? Okay, sudo cp etc conky.conf to its destination folder, to its destination file, which is conkyRC. Okay, now let's try to do some editing. So nano, I'm going to use nano for the meantime, since I still have it installed other text editor on my computer. Okay, so conkyRC. Okay, so this is already it's unwritable. Okay, this is already my conkyRC. So let's try to change the permission. Sudo sudo chmod 77 -r conkyRC. Although by default the configuration file of conkyRC is writable, but for some reason I didn't know why it became unwritable. So I just issued the command sudo chmod, make it 777, make it writable, then slash .conkyRC. Okay, so this time let's try to open it up again. Okay, so let's try to edit, make it top right. Okay, let's try to save. Try to open another terminal. Open in terminal. Okay, conky. Okay, now as you've noticed, it's already on the upper right portion of my monitor. Okay, so let's try to add some more things to it. Okay, let's try to edit it a little bit. Okay, let's try to remove some things and let's try to add something. So some of the information currently showing are the uptime, frequency, RAM, swap, CPU processes, file systems, networking. We also have the name of the applications currently running in the background. So you also have file systems, which is the current file size of my hard drive. It's around 20 gig, so 28 gig. Okay, so let's try to add, remove the upper part. Let's also try to add some of the applications that is currently running. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's try to go down. Now we have here HR. So HR is actually this horizontal rule or horizontal line that divides each section in Conky. So um, one of the good things actually of using Conky is that you can, as long as you know how to use HTML, it won't be that hard for you to edit it a bit, edit the configuration file or the conkyRC. Okay, so these are its code. Okay, so let's try to add, let's try to add some more lines. Okay, let's try to add, let's say, color light gray, top name 5. This is the top 5 top process ID 5, CPU 5, then it's memory consumption, top memory consumption 5. Let's try to save. Okay, so we already have 5 processes running or displaying here: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are some of the top 5 applications that's currently running on our system. Okay, so what if, let's say for example, so we want to change. Let me just try to open another application first. Since basically I'm in VirtualBox, so I'll be opening Adobe Photoshop on my host machine so that I can get some colors. Okay, so I'm going to get a color here, color green. Okay, let's try to change this up. Try to change this one up. Instead of the color gray here, let's try to change it to color green. Yeah, let's say maybe make it light green. Okay, so let's try to change it to wait. 8D C63. Yeah. Okay, so I changed the color from gray to green, light green. So that's it. Let me just try to copy it all. Actually, you can set it also the colors through variables, but I'm not going to do that for the meantime since this is just an example. Let me just also try to remove this part. Now, if you want to comment certain sections or certain portion of the script, all you have to do is just put the number sign. Okay, so I place the number sign, then it's automatically commented, so it will no longer be displayed. Okay. By the way, okay, so what else do we need to change? Let's try to change also the width. So you have your maximum. Okay. Maximum width and maximum. Just try to specify maximum width to 200. Okay, it's actually a little bit smaller, so let's try to make it 275. Then let's also try to change the font size from 12 to make it 10. becomes a little bit small. As you've noticed also that there's no gap from the edge of my desktop to my conky. So what I wanted to do is try to add a little bit of space. So how do I do that? I have here gap. As you can see, there's a gap. I need to put a gap. So if I were to add gap x, actually it's the coordinate. So gap x means that it's the horizontal and gap y it's the vertical. Okay, so let's say let's try to add here 5. Try to make it let's say 20. Okay, so there's already a gap. Then for gap y, that's actually from the top part, so try to make it 20 also. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to provide, I've been always, for the past few posts that I did, I've been telling you guys that I'll be providing with my configuration file. I'm going to finally provide it later. I'm going to give add the link so that at least you can download it out. You can download it and test it out later. Okay, so that's how you would configure your conky. Okay. Next, okay, so we already have here conky, so let's try to add some more applications in our Mint. Okay, so let's try to add unimatrix this time. Close. Let's try to add unimatrix. Sudo apt install unimatrix. Okay, sudo apt. Let's try to use. Let's try to search for it on our browser. That's what most Linux users would do if they can find it on the internet. They can find it anywhere. Okay, so let's try to use Google. Don't need to memorize anything. So let's try to see matrix. Okay, let's try to install. Let's try to copy this part. Copy. Let's not try to use curl. If you don't have curl, okay, you can so yeah, let's try to use pip. Copy. Okay, sudo. We need to first to install its dependency. Sudo apt install python 3 dash pip. And let's try to recopy it again. Yes, let's try to download it again. So when I do computer programming, actually, I don't need to memorize things. Just much like what I'm doing right now. I can always use the internet. So what's the point of having the internet, or what's the point of having technology if you're not going to maximize its usage? Okay. So very much the same as what I'm doing right now. I would normally use the internet just to search for stuff, and even if I'm going to use my Linux box or try to use even if I'm working, I would normally use the internet for research purposes also. So let's try to wait for a bit. Next thing that we are going to do is we're going to download. We decide to okay, we decide to open in the terminal. We decide to do sudo. We're waiting for installation of pip. So apt-get install flac. We cannot do that because it's another application still using it. Okay, so let's try to wait for a while. So it's already 6% installation done. I wanted to have something like this. 99%. Okay, so we already have here done. So the installation is already done. Okay, so let's try to check if it's going to run already. Unimatrix. Permission denied. Okay. Okay. Forgot to add sudo. Sudo unimatrix. So to run. I need to set again the permission. Okay, so sudo chmod. Set to copy this part. Copy. Paste. Okay, so try to check sudo unimatrix. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so one of the things I would also normally do with my terminal is to make it transparent. So how do I do that? In here, just try to right click, preference, colors, use transparency. Make sure I have use transparent background checked, and that's it. Okay, so it will be reflected in all of the applications. So that's it also. Now, one of the things that we also have to consider is how do we make our conky run along with its every time we try to open our computer. We wanted to put it at startup, or wanted also to run it at startup. Okay, so let's try to click here, then start up applications. Let's try to add custom command, then try to name it as conky. Okay, conky. So I apply add, okay, so I have to click add. So what it would normally do is it would actually try to open conky along with our application, along with our operating system. Okay, let's try to close. Let's try to check if it's going to work. Try to reboot. Try to wait for a while. USB. Okay, I also enabled USB support on my VirtualBox. Let's try to see if it's going to work. We're going to get a file there, the conky that I have been editing, that I've already edited, and at the same time also try to put it on our configuration file. So we're going to use that particular uh, uh, configuration file for our application. Okay. Let's try to wait for a while. Okay, so after adding it on our startup, okay, we have the usual again, startup. Let's try to just click all of this. So Conky is already up and running, so it runs along with our operating system. Okay, so let's try to check if we've also successfully added our USB drive. Okay, so we have here our 16 gig USB drive. I have here Linux apps. Okay, let's try to copy. This is actually the conky file that I have been working on. So let me just try to open with text editor. What I'll be doing is I'm just going to copy this one and try to put it here. I'm also going to, as what I've said, this is the file also that I'll be sharing with you guys via GitHub. So okay, let me just try to install another sudo apt-get install gedit. So let's try to try to wait for a while because it's still downloading. So okay, so it's already there. So gedit conkyRC. Okay, so what we need to do this time is we just have to copy and try to paste it here. Try to see. So it's on the left hand side. We want it on the right hand side. So uptime conky top left. Let's try to make it on our top right. Okay. So okay, so I also to make it a little bit small again, just like what we did a while ago for its maximum width. Okay, so there's no maximum width here, so maximum width is equals to 275. Okay, so these are some of the information that I actually added. Okay, so you can also edit it based on your own preference. So it's also green, very much the same as linuxmint. Okay, next is let's try. I'm going to install plank this time. Okay, sudo apt-get sudo apt plank. Okay, so basically what I wanted to happen is I'm going to change the location of my menu here on top. Then I'm going to put plank here at the bottom. I'm also going to hide this uh, icons. Okay, so let's try to check sudo plank. Okay, we already have our plank here at the bottom. Okay, So next, let's try to move it on top. Okay, so we have here on blank at the bottom. Again, let's try to cancel. Okay. Next is what we wanted to do is we wanted to run it also along with our conky every time we try to do our startup. So start up applications. Try to add another startup application. Custom command. You have here blank, then blank, then add. Okay. Next is try to edit this one a bit. Open terminal, gedit conkyRC. Try to make this one a little bit somewhere here at the bottom. So for its gap y, try to maybe make it 100. There. Okay. So then let's try to run our blank. Okay, so we'll be here at the bottom. So let's try to do a restart again. Reboot, sorry. To check if it's going to work. Let's try to wait first. This is one of the issues actually I have when I'm running virtual boxes. It's kind of slow, but when I try to put it on my local machine or actual machine, it doesn't normally load this slow. So the next application that we're going to install and hopefully configure is rofi. So let's try to put here. Let's try to wait for a bit. Okay, also try to install. Okay, let's try to install just first rofi. Okay, so we already have. Okay, so as you've noticed, we already have loaded here blank, and we have our okay, so we have already added our blank as well as our conky. So what we need to do next is let's try to do panel settings. Okay, panel height, maybe make it a little bit small. Maybe I try to make it try to make it 30. Try to see. Okay, then center zone. That's okay. So always show edit panel mode, scale, size, panel appearance, auto hide. Intelligent hide panel. Okay. Okay, so let's intelligently hide our panel. Then what else? Center zone, panel appearance. Okay. Then what we wanted to do is we wanted to hide these two icons. Customize. Okay, desktop settings. Okay, basically I just clicked on my desktop, then desktop settings is going to hide. So let's trash mount types. Okay. Show icons missing from the monitor. Okay. Next thing that we are going to do is to add an application here. So you can't seem to drag it. We turn here blank. Blank. This is blank. Okay, so to run it from here. It's already there. So try to install rofi. So sudo. Okay. Um, wait. Okay. Let's try to install rofi. Sudo snap. Except for try to install snap. Sudo apt-get. Try to update first our system. Then sudo apt install snapd. Sudo apt install sudo apt install sudo apt update. Okay, try to check if we can install it locally. Sudo snap install rofi snap sudo apt. Okay. So we just issue the command sudo apt install rofi. Okay. One of the good things actually that I've noticed with linuxmint is that I can use my window key. I can tile actually my window. So I'm currently pressing my window key, my super key, then my arrow keys. Okay. Then okay, so trying to check if it's the rofi is rofi. So this is its manual or its uh, set of commands. So let's try to use rofi -show then drun. Okay, drun means we're going to just look at the different applications installed. Then we can issue the command from there. So this is rofi. So let's say for example account details. Check. Okay. Last. Okay. Let's for the last. Let's try to install a sudo apt. Uh, sudo apt get install tilix. Tilix is actually one of those applications, tiling applications or tiling emulator that I would normally install to make my work easier. Ah, by the way, I'm also going to install Ranger. Uh, okay, start up. Okay, okay, everything's okay there. keyboard. Shortcuts. Okay, let's try to add another application here. Add custom shortcut. Let's try to use rofi. So command rofi dash show drun. And so to click add. Okay, so we have here this one. So let's try to assign uh, shift C. Cannot be used. Let's try to use shift C. Okay, let's try to use something else. Window. Try to use okay, wait. To click, press escape to click. Okay, it's going to be super L. So every time that we press our left window key or super key, rofi would be triggered. Okay, that's it. So okay, it's interesting. Okay, let's also try to add themes. To use but let's try to keep it for the meantime. Okay, so try to have this one. System settings again. Try to hide the one on top. So effects, background, panel settings. Let's go to panel settings. Then intelligently hide panel, always show panel, auto hide. Try to auto hide our panel. Then okay, actually like that. So every time I'm going to put my pointer here on top, it will be displayed. But once I hover away from the top panel, it's also going to be hidden. Okay. Next is try to use sudo apt ranger. Sudo apt install ranger. Okay, we're waiting for the installation. Try to look for a nice wallpaper. Try maybe to install also another application. Try to install uh, top. Okay, install. Sudo pip 3. Try to use anime wallpapers. Wallpaper. papers. Just check because it's still, for some reason, it won't install. Let's use htop instead. Okay. Let's try to use this one. So to download. Set as wallpaper. Okay, so let's try this time to run htop. Okay. Still not running. Okay, so let's try to run the following commands this time. Open terminal. Let's try to use Ranger or tilix. And let's try to make it reference. Default profile. Set its transparency. So maybe Ranger. Okay, so that's how I would normally set my desktop. That's how I would normally do my desktop. Okay, so that's it. So I'm just going to post my the configuration of my conky, as well as the commands I used or I issued when I installed the commands I use for this particular desktop. Thanks, guys.